All right, everybody, ready to dive in.
Let's do it.
Today, we are going deep on a word that I think you'll find very interesting.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one.
And that word is abandon.
Ooh, lots to unpack there.
So much, so much. And we're going to be looking at it from all these different angles. We're
Absolutely.
going to define it, of course. We'll look at examples of it, trace it back in time, and even see how it pops up in art and literature and things like that.
It's kind of everywhere once you start noticing it.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of sneaky like that. And thankfully, we have an expert here to guide us through all the twists and turns.
I'm happy to be your guide.
So let's start with the basics. What does abandon actually mean? Like if I were to look it up in the dictionary, what would I find?
Well, at its core, abandon means to leave something completely and permanently, often because it's too difficult or dangerous to stay.
Difficult or dangerous. So it's not just like forgetting your keys somewhere, right? There's a sense of like necessity to it.
Right. It often involves a tough choice, a decision made in the face of some kind of obstacle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess it kind of explains why it's such an emotionally charged word.
Definitely.
There are some examples in our materials.
Yeah, we have a few here.
Do any of those jump out to you as a good illustration of this idea?
Well, one that comes to mind is the family had to abandon their home due to the wildfire.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's heavy. I mean, you can just imagine the feeling of loss, the heartbreak of leaving everything behind.
Absolutely. But there's also that element of survival, right? It's a forced abandonment, but it's done to protect themselves.
Right, right. It's like in that situation, abandoning their home is actually the best choice, even though it's incredibly painful.
Exactly. And that brings up an interesting point about abandon. It's not always negative.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, think about phrases like abandon a bad habit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It has a positive connotation. It's about letting go of something that's no longer serving you.
I like that. It's like sometimes you have to abandon things in order to move forward, to grow.
Exactly. It can be a step towards something better.
Okay, so we've got this idea of leaving something behind, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes for positive reasons.
Right.
But words have histories, right? Like they don't just appear out of thin air. Where did abandon come from?
Well, if we trace it back, we find that abandon has its roots in Old French.
The language of love and abandonment, I guess.
That's one way to look at it. But the interesting part is the root of the word, band.
Band, like a musical group.
Not quite. This band is related to control or power, and the suffix on tells us we're forming a verb.
Okay, so putting those pieces together, abandon essentially means to completely release control.
Precisely. It's about relinquishing power over something, whether it's a physical object, a situation, or even an idea.
That's fascinating. It's like understanding the pieces of the word unlocks its deeper meaning.
Absolutely. And it also helps us understand the different forms of abandon.
Oh, right, like abandon.
Exactly. Abandonment is the noun form. It describes the state of being abandoned.
So I could say something like, the old toys lay scattered in the attic, gathering dust in the abandonment.
Perfect example.
And I bet there are other forms of the verb too, right? Like past tense, present progressive, and so on.
You got it. We have abandoned, which is past tense, indicating something that has already been abandoned. Abandoning, which shows the action is happening right now. And we can even use to abandon in the infinitive form.
So many possibilities.
Yeah.
It's like a word with a whole family tree.
And just like families, each member has its own unique personality and role to play in the language.
I love that analogy. It makes it so much easier to grasp.
Glad to hear it.
You know, as we're talking about all these different forms and meanings, I can't help but think about all the common phrases we use with abandon.
Oh, there are definitely some good ones.
Like abandon hope, right?
Classic. That one really captures a sense of despair, like giving up on something you once deeply cared about.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. And what about abandon a plan?
Another common one. It simply means to completely give up on a course of action.
It's amazing how one word can weave itself into so many aspects of our language and thoughts.
It's true. Abandon really gets around.
Speaking of weaving, I wonder if we could try something a bit different.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Can you paint us a picture using abandon, like a scene or an image that really captures the essence of the word?
I can give it a shot. Imagine a once grand house, now standing empty and decaying. Vines crawl up the walls, windows are boarded up, and the paint peels like old skin. The garden is overgrown, the fountain is dry, and the only sound is the wind whistling through the broken windows.
Wow. It's almost like a forgotten memory, a place frozen in time.
And yet there's a certain beauty in that abandonment, a sense of nature reclaiming what was once hers.
It's a poignant image, that's for sure.
Hmm.
It makes you think about the passage of time and how things change.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've explored the definition of abandon, its fascinating history and etymology, its various forms, and even how it can be used to create vivid imagery.
It's been quite a journey.
It has, and I hope our listeners have enjoyed diving deep into this word with us.
Me too.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder.
Okay, I like where this is going.
What does abandon mean to you? Think about a time in your life where you had to leave something behind. Maybe it was a physical place, a relationship, or even a dream.
That's a good one.
Was it a difficult decision? Or was it a liberating experience? What feelings did it evoke?
Lots to think about there.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into abandon. We'll be back soon with more word explorations. Until then, happy pondering.
See you next time.